Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. This video is brought to you by Building Block Construction and Sophisticated and Swanky. This is going to be the Manhattan Beach, basically the state championship weekend, but for us, this is not Master State Champions. This is going to be the Masters 50 plus and 60 plus, scored separately, raced together, scored separately. And we got a good turnout. It's about, I think it was maybe close to 70 on the day. So yeah, let's get started with this first lap here. All right, so if you can see the top left corner, like always, give you a quick course preview. It's kind of a little hot dog shape or boomerang shape out and back. It's not on the same street though, so it's basically two hairpin turns, on two parallel streets kind of. This first part here, after turn one, is just a little uphill kicker. This is pretty much like the portion that gives you like the hardest effort, kind of, just because you're coming out of such a slow speed, and then you have to accelerate up the turn. Up the hill here. And it's not too bad though. As you can see, we're doing like 23 miles per hour, and it just makes the hill easy to navigate just because you're carrying so much speed. So it's not too taxing on the body. And then you got a big downhill section here where you get to a little bit of recovery and some free speed. And then as you can see up the road there's another little riser that's, same thing. You're carrying so much speed, you just kind of fly up the riser. I don't know what's up with the guy, the Swami guy. I think he was like, it's almost like he was stuck in small gear or something. But yeah, so now you have this little riser here. Same thing, just a quick acceleration up the hill. You're carrying so much momentum from the short downhill there. And then we're gonna come into another left-handed hairpin turn. This turn's a little tricky it's not really tricky, but when you're in the group like this, you can't really take the optimum line. But that's a good turn to kind of hit like second apex on it. You can kind of ignore the first apex and just kind of count, take it wide and kind of calculate or angle your bike towards the second apex and just ignore the first one. You can run it as a double apex also, but it's not the fastest line. But a second apex is pretty quick there. Hopefully everybody understands, different types of apexes as far as they relate to racing. And then here, after the little kicker coming out of that turn, it's pretty steep downhill. You get some really high speed. I think sometimes up to about 40 miles per hour. I have no clue what my fastest speed was of the day. And this stretch here is super long. It was pretty much the same conditions as last year, other than a couple sprinkles early in the morning. But the wind's coming off the right-hand side. This is kind of like a head crosswind. So if you stay to the left, you're pretty protected over there on the left-hand side. So yeah, that's basically one lap of the course here. The laps are pretty long. It's a 1.4 mile circuit. And I think my fastest lap of the day was only like 2 minutes and 50 seconds or something. So it's pretty close to a 3-minute lap for the most part. And we were racing for 40 minutes. I think we ended up doing 36, 37 minutes total. But the race was scheduled for 40 minutes. So this is my first race in a while. Just been traveling a lot with the team, with the girls team. We went to Tulsa. I think we then had a dead week after Tulsa. Tulsa. Then some of the girls raced Barrio Logan. That was Father's Day weekend though, so I didn't race that weekend either. Didn't race Tulsa. Wasn't able to ride in Tulsa either. I think I ran for one day, 3 or 4 miles run one day in Tulsa. Didn't get to race Logan. Then we headed out to Oregon. We were up at Baker City. Didn't get to race that either. Just had family stuff going on there with Ellen's dad in the hospital. Then I got sick at Baker. Ellen had gotten sick at Tulsa. I got sick while we were up in Baker. Went to Boise, tried to race Boise. I only lasted literally like 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. I don't know. It was a 40 plus 1, 2, 3 in in Boise, Idaho for the Boise Twilight. And I pretty much only lasted like 6 minutes, literally. I think 9 total, but really I was only, in the mix for 6 minutes or something. Just couldn't breathe, couldn't stop coughing, all that kind of stuff. So haven't been in the best shape, haven't been able to train that much. But, we're back and we're out here racing. So I think I'll do this race and then Costa Mesa. And after that, I'll probably just shut down my season. I'm kind of burnt out a little bit just doing so much with running the team and stuff like that. So, and got to get healthy, obviously. So I'm coming into this race a little fat too. I was 185 coming into this race. I think last year I raced at 170, and most of this year I've been about 175 or so, but I think I was 185 coming into this race. So again, as you can see on this left side here, it's pretty easy to move up. I'm not doing any watts. It's protected from the wind. You can see everybody's kind of moving up easily on this left side. Haven't touched the pedal yet and just kind of made up a good 10 spots there on the left side. There's some flags up here, like closer to the park or whatever, or yeah, I think that's the park up there. There's some flags up there that you can kind of see the wind. Just from this angle, it looks like the wind's blowing left to right, but it's actually blowing right to left. You see the gentleman up there in the yellow and the guy in the orange in that gutter. Pretty dangerous. Not in the gutter there, but just because it blocks out the fence right here. And this fence comes up pretty quick. You see that fence right there? That fence comes up pretty quick. And, there was some near misses, and then there was one collision with the fence later in the day in the 40-plus race. The fence did not cause the crash, but the guys sprinting for the finish, they kind of bumped each other, then hit the fence. So yeah, like always, we had a pretty stacked field. Everybody showed up this weekend for the state championships, even though it wasn't Masters, but it was for the open fields or the open classes, Cat 3 and above. So yeah, the fields were pretty packed, pretty stacked with talent as well. A lot of fast guys, not only in this category, but in all the categories throughout the day. Everybody kind of shows up when there's a jersey on the line. That's Dustin in front of me right there with the Pedal Mafia kit. Dustin's been out for a little while too. This is, I think, his first race back in maybe like a couple months. But he was looking good out there. I follow him for a while here. And it's good to see him back out, just back out racing again. It's kind of funny, this weekend, there was a lot of crashes. Not in our race. This race goes, without any major incidents. But there was a lot of crashes throughout the day, and I don't really see this course as like a dangerous or hazardous course at all. It's kind of long, high-speed course, 2 long straightaways, but nothing that really should catch people out. I think it was just more of bad decisions, a lot of cross-wheeling, and some lateral movements. Pretty much every race, I think, had some pretty abrupt lateral movements. And when you get cross wheels with some lateral movements, that's definitely going to be a recipe for disaster. At the beginning of this race, we take these corners here so slow. As you can see, we're down to 15 miles per hour, or at least I was. But we took those corners so slow at the beginning of the race. I think we speed up a little bit later. But, yeah, there's just on the brakes going into that corner there. We had some, we had a lot of aggression in this race as far as people trying to get off the front. So it was a little bit spicy. It wasn't super fast. We averaged 26 miles per hour. I think I was 252 watts for the day. And, a couple guys kept trying to get off the front. There was a pretty decent breakaway for a while. I think that's Johnny right there to my left. Enjoy riding with Johnny. I know he has a lot of experience, so I kind of trust him when I see him out there. Like to follow him sometimes. And obviously he's super strong. I think Johnny's I don't know if he's racing the 50 or the 60. I think he's racing the 60 plus in this race. It's good when you have options and you can sign up for either one. We didn't have any major incidents, but we did have a lot of chatter. Heard guys arguing kind of here and there. because it's not really funny. It's kind of funny when you're out there, but it's just not really funny when it turns into an incident, you know. But for the most part, there wasn't an incident. Just, you know, some little bit of bickering here and there, a little bit of shoulder rubbing, and you know, people think it's either necessary or not necessary. You know, so it shouldn't be really colliding that often, especially like I said, on a course like this, not too technical. We're not really fighting for too much of the same real estate. It's pretty wide roads, so there really shouldn't be too many incidents. I think overall though, I was okay this race. Just you know, I didn't do anything special or anything like that, but I just don't have the fitness. The one time I tried to go with something, like I just couldn't recover from it, and it was at the wrong time. It was 2 laps to go. I think I tried to like bridge this little gap, and that was really all I had. I just, you know, don't have really any lung capacity right now, so recovery's a little hard. I think my heart rate dips pretty good. Like it goes up, but my heart rate probably recovers pretty fast. But it seems like my oxygen, processing oxygen is a pretty hard task for me though right now. Yeah, you can see you can move up on these hills like pretty easy, and going into this turn you can move up a lot as well. Like I said, we take this corner so slow, there's like multiple lines you can take, so it's not like you have to have it pinned or hit your turn entry or your apex. You don't have to hit them like so precisely just because we're going so slow. You can pretty much put your bike where you want it. This section here on the downhill is really fun. Like I said, it's protected on the left-hand side here, but it is a little sketch when it gets, you see there's a gutter right there, the little rain storm drains. It does get a little bit hairy, you know, if somebody goes over those drains. But other than that, it's pretty fun, just a fast downhill section, and definitely gives you enough time to recover here for any of the hard efforts on the hill, which is not that hard, but it is the place where, you know, the attacks kind of sting a little bit. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I think I don't have the results out in front of me, but I think we had you know, close to 70 riders in the combined field. It's funny, like at the beginning, just because I haven't raced in so long, I did I think I've only done one group ride also. Did Montrose like the day before, did Montrose on Saturday, just did Montrose short. And I wasn't really even in a group then because I left my phone on my truck and ended up having to go back, get the phone, and then I chased. So I was just basically riding Montrose for the first hour by myself. But yeah, my point is, I just wasn't really used to riding in a group again. I've, you know, it's been a month basically, and like the first couple laps, you know, I think I was pretty, at least I felt, I'm not saying I did anything visually, but I felt like I wasn't real stable in some of the corners or whatever. No one said anything, so I'm guessing it was more in my head or just a feeling. But yeah, it's definitely important to stay sharp, and at least, you know, if you're not racing, hit some group rides or something where you're going to be, you know, doing some pack riding. Yeah, I didn't even mention, I don't think, that little kicker there just before the downhill. It's not that, I mean, that's not really anything either. You don't feel it. As you saw, we were like over 26 miles per hour going into that kicker, so you really don't feel anything here. If you're on the front, you're going to definitely feel the, I'm sorry, I thought I was at a different spot. I thought we were on the front straight here. But yeah, this little kicker here coming out of this turn, it's a little bit taxing when you don't have momentum, just because we're hitting that turn so slow. So here you can see that's where most of the spikes are. You know, a little 700 watt spike is just super short, and then you're going pretty fast downhill. But yeah, that's a little bit taxing when you're hitting it coming out of that corner at such a slow speed or low speed. You can see there's some guys way up the front there trying to get off the front. You know, we had multiple breakaway attempts on the day. Yeah, this is definitely a very long straightaway. It really gets tricky sometimes at the end, like, you know, trying to time like when you're gonna sprint. Definitely have it pretty stretched out right now. I think I said earlier we averaged 26. I averaged 26. I'm sure some people averaged a little bit higher, but I was right at about 26 miles per hour for this race. That first turn too, it's like this is a pretty wide sweeping turn, but there's a little storm drain or whatever, a little gutter that goes across the road there that dips down like, I don't know, 6 inches or so, just makes it a little bit less smooth. So you can't really, I mean, I guess you can carry higher speed, but most people kind of slow down a little bit there. And for the most part, I like the inside of this course. I like being on the inside, like just all the way around it. Just kind of, you know, you can kind of control your own destiny there on the inside, and, you know, either block pass or, you know, just get a little bit in front or whatever. Just on the outside, I just don't like it as much. It's not as smooth to me. Obviously, you got to carry a little bit more speed on the outside. So I was just a little bit more comfortable staying on the inside of this course. And it's funny to me too, in the other races, I think two of the crashes later in the day were actually on the straightaway here on the uphill. It seemed like a little bit weird spot to have two incidents. Yeah, we're just about halfway through this race here, and you know, with my lack of fitness and all that, at about this point of the race, I think I pretty much knew, like, you know, the race was not going to be that difficult as far as like all my fitness. Um, yeah, because at this point, I think it was feeling fairly easy overall. Um, but that could be too because there's a break out front, and you know the peloton always gets slowed down a little bit when there's a break. That's obviously how the break kind of gets away. So yeah, anytime there's a break, like the overall speed of the race is typically a little bit slower. Unless you're in the break, of course. Yeah, because I think my average power was barely 200, like 208, and my normalized was 252, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of guys going backwards right now. I think just to establish the break, it kind of stretched us out so far that some guys got a little bit winded and need to recover. So they're just kind of fading backwards a little bit to recover. So right here is where that bump is. You see the little drain right there going across the street. And then this is pretty much, I think, the hardest effort just coming out of here. Just because it's sustained, it's not like it's such a big hill or anything, but because it gets so stretched out coming out of turn one and it's slightly uphill, and then it's sustained for about a 30-second effort or whatever. Right there, I talked to the guy from Lagrange. I was just asking him to stay to the left there just because I was kind of getting pushed towards that curb that was kind of protruding out, and he was like, "Oh yeah, for sure, you know, just just let me know or whatever, just communicate it, and we're good." But yeah, I don't know if it was that curb or this curb coming up here with some cones on it, but one of the curbs kind of stick out a little bit, kind of unexpectedly. It's not really a symmetrical street or whatever. It just kind of has a weird curb that just sticks out into the road a little. I think it might be this one right here with the cones. Yeah, I think it's that one there. Why they have that there, I have no clue. Yeah, and there's the gentleman from Legrand's that I was talking to. Got a guy coming backwards here also. He had just taken a drink. Yeah, you can see here like just all the random lines you can take going through here, going 16 miles per hour. It's definitely way too slow. So this is pretty much my only time on the right side, I think, over here. Definitely don't want to be over here too often. Like I said, the wind's coming off of the right. So you don't want to really be over here too often. You see everybody on the left side just kind of freewheeling and still maintaining pretty good speed. Everyone on the right side here is obviously having to pedal. Doesn't seem like it makes that big of a difference, but over time it does. Just you save a lot more energy being on the left a little bit. Yeah, getting a little squirrely here. Got a lot of abrupt, left and right movements here. Everyone, I know they're weaving up front there, but, so yeah, everybody's kind of weaving a little bit back and forth. Not too big of a deal. But yeah, I'm on the right side here. I try not to stay on the right side too much. Hopefully I don't repeat myself too often here. For whatever reason, my mic cut off halfway through the edit. So this is my second time going through the second half of this race. But, it's late. I'm not going to go back and listen to everything I said and to try not to repeat it. So, we'll just take it as it is. I kind of ad-lib on these videos anyway. I don't script it or anything. So, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out or whatever. But, yeah, we got the pace going a little bit here. Kind of going a little bit faster than we have been earlier in the race. So yeah, I think we've probably got about 5 laps to go here. Maybe 5 or 6 laps to go. I'm pretty sure too we still have a breakaway up the road. Not sure exactly how many guys are in it or who's in it, but pretty sure we still have a breakaway up the road. Already got some guys moving up on the left there. Yeah, I think there was a stage 2 guy in the break for a while also. I don't know if it was those 2 that are just going again now, because I think there's 2 to 4 already up the road. So, that's part of the thing of being so far back. You typically don't know who's up front and who's doing what. But I do know there was a breakaway. So yeah, there's Bart waving his hand up there. It looks like, I don't know, I think he's maybe waving his team up, because got to get on it. With this few laps to go, we kind of got to get on it to kind of bring that break back. So you see there's a pretty good surge up there and guys are going. The speed definitely did ramp up a little bit here. So yeah, it's getting kind of critical. Like we have like 5 laps to go or whatever. I'll try to look at the lap board The lap board is not digital. It's on this course is not digital, so usually it's a little bit easier to see on the video. The digital ones are pretty hard to see on video. But yeah, we should be down. Should be a lap counter coming up here on the left side at the start finish line. So yeah, right there, 4 laps to go. So 4 laps to go, that's a little less than 12 minutes. Just because we're running, you know, like I said, my fastest lap was like 250, 252, something like that on the day. So we're running roughly 3 minutes a lap, 4 to go. So we got like roughly 12 minutes left. And, you know, 12 minutes is not a lot of time to bring back a break depending on who's in it and how hard they're going. But, you know, I think, you know, I'm not exactly sure that's what Bart was doing, but that's what it looks like. It looks like he was kind of rallying the troops, like saying, hey, let's get on it. We need some coordination up here. So the pace did pick up and it strung out. So there are some guys up there willing to work and run it down. And you can see we have a little bit more intensity in our body too. The speed's a little higher. You know, people are going backwards, and you can tell people are digging pretty hard getting up this hill. So they're definitely putting in some work up front and doing their job and trying to bring the brake back. And there's a couple guys there. I don't know if that's the initial break that we were chasing, but you can see there's about 3-4 guys up front, off the front here. You can kind of barely see them above the heads up there. You'll see them maybe when we go uphill again. I don't know if this is the second hill already, but you'll probably see them either then or when, yeah, there they go, turning. Then there's a little gap, and then there's the rest of us coming in now. So yeah, going into 3 to go, definitely critical. You know, if those guys haven't been brought back yet, we like got to bring them back now. And you can see it's still pretty sprung out. It's not exactly single file, but this is pretty much the most it's been stretched out. Just about all race, basically. Yeah, it's funny here too. With the wind coming off the right, I don't know why they didn't hug the right side. I mean the left side here. And they kind of move over to the left now, but you know, initially everybody was a little bit on the right side, like right into the wind, instead of forcing others to go around into the wind. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's all back together now or if it takes one more lap, but I think we might be all back together now. I can see some guys up the road a little bit, so it still might be just not completely connected. Thought it was all back together, but it might be a little gap up there on the front. And once again, you know, we're up to 29 on the uphill here, so you know everybody's putting in a pretty good dig. We definitely have the speed up a little higher. Got my heart rate up a little higher as well. Yeah, but overall, I think just, you know, I'm a little out of shape just because I've been off for that month or whatever, just traveling with the girls and all that. And again, please forgive me if I said this already, because like I said, the recording kind of cut off halfway through and I had to do the second half again. But yeah, we just been traveling, Tulsa, Oregon, Boise. I got sick up there. My wife has been sick since Tulsa. She finally passed it on to me. I got sick when we were in Baker. I tried to race Boise. It lasted like 6 to 8 minutes. I don't know, 6 to 9 minutes, something like that. So here I thought I was feeling pretty good, and I am, but um, yeah, I can't really breathe that well though. My legs feel okay, you know, my heart is okay, but overall I just couldn't breathe that much. So I think here we're going to be going into 2 laps to go. And I didn't really want to be on the front. We're about eighth wheel or so here, just with the guys off the brake up there. And then here I just slot into the Evoke Rider, behind the Evoke Rider. And yeah, I didn't really want to do too many efforts here. I thought some more guys would kind of come around us here, but everybody's kind of maybe having the same thought with, you know, so few laps left. So yeah, it looks like maybe a group of 10 up the road. And this is going into 2 laps to go, I believe. So you see one of them, I think that's one of the monster guys trying to bridge up there. A couple guys come around, just kind of slot in, and you got to think there has to be a little bit of desperation. So you got to think, you know, everyone sees these guys going up the front, and unless they want the break to get away with 2 laps to go, I'm pretty sure there should be a little bit more motivation from the peloton. Definitely when you're like me riding solo, you're not too motivated to try to do all the work to bring back a break. You don't mind, like, you know, contributing a little bit, but definitely it would be like short pulls. So yeah, they're only a couple seconds in front of us. It's not that big of a deal, but with time ticking, yeah, it is kind of dangerous. You can see Pat has a little more urgency here, so Pat takes off with the Monster Rider on his wheel. Not sure who it was. So you see guys kind of getting gapped off here, and this kind of kills me here. This is going, you know, we're going to be going into 1 lap to go now, and this little effort basically killed me. And I didn't really realize I was in no man's land. I thought, you know, guys were still behind me, so I kind of flick an elbow here and look back for some help, and there's no one there. There's no one there, so I'm like gapped off into no man's land here. And it's not even that big of an effort, but you can see my heart rate jumped up pretty good. And yeah, I just really never recovered from this little effort going into the last lap. My heart rate's gonna drop a little bit, but honestly, I just never, doesn't seem like I got any oxygen and any legs back after this little effort there. And that was really like such a small effort. Not like completely small, but it, you know, it's just being out of shape. It wasn't something that I think should have popped me. But I'm a little skinny fat right now, 185 at the time of this race, or at least at the morning of the race. But yeah, so I'm a little heavy also right now, and then just been off the bike and stuff a little. So overall, you know, the fitness is better than I expected, but it's still a little disappointing when like you're out there and you just can't recover, you know. Because yeah, here it's like pretty much bunched up again. So even though I'm not feeling great right now, it's not like really the worst position just because everything's bunched up. Yeah, I'm like 30th or something, I don't know. But because we're so wide, you know, it's not like you're too far back actually. And it's a long lap. You know, 3-minute laps is a long time. That gives you a lot of time to kind of make moves or do what you need to do. I just wasn't able to do it. My heart rate's down pretty good here, but I didn't, you know, I didn't feel it. It feels like I left my last match on that little effort there. It's kind of interesting with the banana in the back, and you know, I'm not knocking them or anything like that. It's just you see bananas and stuff when people are on like group rides and stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen a banana in like a crit. Someone have a banana in the crit race until now. So yeah, I think this is the last lap here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the last lap. You'll see the monster guys moving up on the left. And I kind of was thinking when I see monster moving up, after, not on this this little hump here, but after the hump, they're gonna move up again. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, I can jump onto that train. And I kind of do semi jump onto it. But then one of the guys that I thought was going to be on the train, because, you know, he's a monster guy as well, he ended up not going with the other three. And I slotted in behind him. And he ended up just not going with you know, with the teammates. And I don't know if that was like intentional or not, but maybe he just did the effort to bring him up there. So his job might have been done. So as you can see right here, there's going to be 4 of them going up, and I thought all 4 was going up. So I kind of slot in behind him here, and he lets them go. But he was the first one that came by, so he probably helped pull them up to the front there, and his job was done. And, you know, I didn't notice that, so I slotted in behind him, thinking he was going to go with the guys. So, yeah, and then one of their teammates also, I believe it's Randall Coxworth. Yeah, he's off the front. He got off the front and, you know, didn't get brought back. So I think he wasn't a part of the, or he may have been a part of it, but I don't think it was from the initial break. I think after the break was caught, he went again and, yeah, didn't get caught. So here, yeah, my heart rate's back up pretty high. I mean, normally I used to max out at 197, but being a little out of shape and different stuff, I think I'm really at about 190 now is where I max out. So got a couple beats in hand, but it's definitely not, it's not feeling comfortable right now. Like I said, I just kind of never recovered from that little effort a lap ago and just basically cruise in after that. I think I'm gonna go around these guys just because our speed is kind of low here for like a final lap. So I just go around them real quick, but I don't sprint or anything, like not a real sprint. But yeah, that's it. I think I crossed the line in 22nd place, and my next race will be the Costa Mesa Crit, and then I think I'm gonna shut it down for the season. So yeah, thanks for watching, and appreciate all the support. It's been a good, had a good time racing with the 50 plus this year.